What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Mediocrity Sports Show. I'm your man, Mike, and we have a big episode for you today. We'll be going over some big games that happened over the weekend, trade deadline, a lot of pieces moving around the NFL, and also power rankings. So let's get into it. We had the Bears facing the Bengals. This was a back and forth game. Came down to the last few minutes in the fourth quarter. Bears ended up pulling this one out 47-42. Um, and Caleb Williams, he is showing a lot. He's showing improvement with his legs, with his arm, his decision making, um, but also just as an overall quarterback. I know last year he had a lot of pressure on him, and we had a lot of questions. We didn't know if the Bears really found their franchise quarterback. But he's shown a lot recently, has him off to a good start at 5-3, and went into Cincinnati in a hostile environment. He had them on that last minute scoring drive and threw a deep pass to Loveland to seal that win. As for the Bengals, it's a tough loss for them. I mean, they played well. Joe Flacco threw for the most yards he's ever thrown in his career, most passing yards for a 40-year-old quarterback in NFL history. 4 touchdowns, but the thing that sticks out to me the most is the interceptions. 2 interceptions against a good team, in a close back and forth game like this, is definitely going to come back to bite you. And even though Chase Brown was able to have over 100 yards of total offense, they wasn't really able to establish that running game, and that's what you really want to try to wear down that Bears front line. So definitely a big win for the Bears. Bengals are on a bye week, so they have some time to get things together. For the Bears, they have a game against the Giants, who have some injuries on that side. So I'm sure the Bears are going to try to capitalize that. So Bears are looking really good this year so far. Next game, Falcons at Patriots. This game ended up being closer than I thought, but the Patriots was able to win this one in the end, 24-23. Patriots improved to 7-2. And, who would have thought that the Patriots, of all teams, was going to be this good, this fast, this season? Drake May looked good again, 19 to 29, 259 yards and 2 TDs, only 1 interception. Again, they're trying to work their running game out. Uh, Travion Henderson with only 55 yards rushing. But the Falcons, again, like we said last week, they kind of was getting off. Seemed like they was kind of finding themselves around week 3 and 4. Running game was going. We thought, Bijan was looking like the best running back in the league. I mean, they've since regressed. Bijan only 12 carries, 46 yards, 50 yards receiving, but um, you still want to try to get that running game going against this Patriots team if you wanted to have any success. Drake London played really well, 9 receptions for 118 yards in a close game. Michael Penix did pretty good as well with 3 TDs, but in the end, Patriots were just too good in this game. So Falcons have another tough one coming up, playing against the Colts. Same for the Patriots. They play in Tampa this week coming up. So we'll see how that week goes. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-20. Colts did drop to 7-2, but hey, 7-2, it's not bad at all. But you really saw in this game where the Steelers defense really wanted to stop the run in this game. Jonathan Taylor, only 14 carries for 45 yards. It's not going to get it done for that team. The Colts really want to establish the run first and then work off of that with the pass. But they really had to rely on Daniel Jones to really pull them back into this game. And you really don't want to do that with Jones. I know he's been playing well this season, but you don't really want to put the game all in his hands. So he was 31 of 50, 342 yards, but those 3 interceptions, it's tough. Um, Michael Pittman Jr., he was the primary target with 9 receptions, 115 yards. But um, again, you really don't want to put the game in Daniel Jones' hands to have him um, try to win you this one against a good Steelers defense. And I mean, the Steelers, the game plan worked. They wanted to stop the run and be mistake free, and that's what they did. Aaron Rodgers was 25-35, 200 yards, one TD, no turnovers. They wasn't able to really establish a run, but when your defense was playing that well, it kind of worked out for them. So this was a good game. Defense for the Steelers really showed up and took away the primary option that the Colts wanted to do, which was that running game. All right, JJ McCarthy's return to the Vikings. He was able to plot a win 27-24. This was a defensive game primarily. Both teams attempted to make plays. Detroit has a high-powered offense. Um, but no team could really get into a good groove. They would make a play to score, but then, something would happen where either a turnover or a mistake here, penalty here, that really kept this game close. But JJ McCarthy did enough to win. He only threw for 143 yards. They didn't really put a lot on him. Two TDs when it counted the most, and he did have the one interception. They wasn't really able to establish a run, but Aaron Jones was able to get put up 78 yards on the ground, and Jefferson only had 47 yards and one TD. Um, but again, it was enough to win. They made the big plays at the end to win this game. And as for Detroit, we've been saying it all season. Seems like one week they're looking like the best team in the league, and next week they kind of fall off. This was kind of similar in this game. Jared Goff, 25-37, 284, two TDs. But again, that running game, they like to work off of that as well, and they wasn't able to establish that at all. 11 carries, 40 yards for Montgomery. Sam Laporta, he was their best receiver in this game, 6 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown. So hopefully Detroit plays their worst football coming up. They play my Commanders. Well, we kind of know how that game is going to go. And the Minnesota Vikings, they have a tough game against the Ravens. Ravens kind of getting their groove back right now. So two good games for them coming up next week. Next, we have this was a great game, Chiefs at Bills. Um, Two teams that you'll probably see in the playoffs this year. Mahomes couldn't get into a groove at all, pressure in his face all night. Um, this was the most pressured I've seen him all season. He was only 15 of 34 for 250, no touchdowns, which you don't say often, and one interception. Couldn't get the running game going. Um, I think this is a good buy for them um, because the Bills defense really exposed how to really slow down the Chiefs if that is possible right now. But yeah, pressure was just in his face up the middle. They also kept him contained off both sides. Mahomes like to sneak out either to the left or the right to extend the plays, but um, that D line for the Bills. They really contained him. He wasn't able to get out the pocket, and that really made it a tough night for Mahomes. So, good plan on defense for the Bills. And Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. 23 of 26, very accurate, 273 yards. And he got a few yards on the ground, but he really managed this game well. And also the running game helped out a lot as well. Cook with over 100 yards of rushing and a touchdown. So this was a big game for the Bills to try to stay on track. They had two big wins in a row now. Chiefs, they were getting on a roll, but now they had a setback. But I'm sure that we'll be seeing these teams face each other again in the playoffs for sure. And then finally, we have, and I know. during our picks last week, I picked the Cowboys in this game, but I also said that if they lost, I wouldn't be mad either because um, I knew that the Giants would lose. Kind of had in the back of my mind my Commanders might lose, but at least if the Cowboys lost and the Eagles were on a bye, that we'll be all right in the division for this week. But Cardinals pulled out the win on the road in Dallas, 27-17 against the Cowboys. Brissett, he has these games whenever he's called upon that he is very accurate, controls the game, and really puts whatever team that he's on in a position to win. And he did just that, mistake free, 21 of 31, 261 for two TDs. He was, really in control of this game, just finding open receivers, not doing too much, just doing his job. But that's kind of what we've seen from him for years now as a backup quarterback. Um, so, DeMarcado, 14 carries, 79 yards. Harrison Jr., it was good to see him really building up that confidence. 7 receptions, 96 yards. On a couple of those catches, you could see him really, flexing and trying to get that confidence up. Early on in the season, it wasn't looking good for him. He would drop a pass, look at the ground, look sad. He's really gaining that confidence back. So that was good to see in this game as well. And as for Dallas, kind of similar to Detroit, like it's such a high-powered offense, probably still the best offense in the league. Dak playing some of the best football he's played in his career, but they'll have good weeks that they put together, and then they'll have a game like this where they lose at home to the Cardinals. Prescott didn't look good at all. Um, Thrown for 250 touchdown, but also an interception. Um, CD Lamb and Pickens, I mean, they was able to do get their yards, 85 yards. I believe Pickens had similar numbers, but definitely just a letdown game for the Cowboys. Definitely a game today, you know, you would think that they would have in the bag, especially at home against the Cardinals, but they let one get away. I'm happy about it. Um, but again, they're going into a bye. I think that this bye is good for them as well. So um, we'll see how the Cowboys come out from that bye. And the Cardinals have a tough division game against the Seahawks. So they really needed this game because the Seahawks team is playing really well right now. So what we've all been waiting for is to talk about the elephant in the room, the trade deadline. Man, oh man. Like just seeing some of these notifications come in, I was just like, oh my God, like, and the Jets is getting that team prepared to really um be able to turn that franchise around quickly, um, if they can really manage these picks right. But let's get into it. First trade, one of the trades we had today, Jacoby Myers being traded from the Raiders to the Jaguars. So a lot of people won't think that this trade is actually of significance, but I think it is. And kind of from firsthand experience, Jacoby Myers torched the Commanders early in the season. I think week 4, week 5, somewhere around there. We just couldn't find him. He's kind of a smaller receiver, but he has a lot of speed. Gets open. Um, and let me get the trade details. So Jacoby Myers was traded to the Jaguars for a fourth and a sixth round pick in the 2026 draft. So to me, that's a good trade. Really on both sides. Jaguars needed a wide receiver. Hunter is out indefinitely with an injury, and Brian Thomas Jr. He's also dealing with some nagging injuries as well. So they needed another receiver, and I think that Myers will help in that offense because he has good route running. He's able to get open. He has good hands. So I think this is a good trade for both sides. All right. Then we had another trade, which I mean, really didn't. Eagles don't really need any anything right now. To me, I mean, they have a really good team. GM has been doing great. Um, I know they haven't looked like how they looked last year, but the roster is still legit. And but what I like about the Eagles is that even though their roster is good, they're always, 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 always looking to improve. Doesn't matter the position, doesn't matter the situation. They're always looking to improve, and then they act on it. They don't just, they always are active in either, trades, free agency, signing their players early. Eagles are, I think, the standard of roster building, and it shows with this pick. Edge Jalen Phillips traded to the Eagles for a 2026 third round draft pick, and again, they just wanted to add talent. So they are basically bolstering up that line, trying to add some depth as well. So definitely was a good signing for them. And the Dolphins, they want draft picks. They still want to kind of build on that roster. You don't know what that GM situation will look like, who's going to come in for that. Don't even know who their head coach might be if McDaniels is going to still be there next year. So they're just trying to get prepared with draft picks, and the Eagles are trying to bolster that roster. So definitely understand this trade. All right. This one I was kind of blown about because I don't like to see um, a rival, getting better. But Logan Wilson was traded from the Bengals to the Cowboys for a seventh round pick in the 2026 draft. So basically, Logan Wilson, he requested a trade about a week ago, and Bengals basically honored that and just got a seventh round pick for him. So Cowboys needed some linebacker help, and Bengals just wanted to kind of get a disgruntled player off the team. So and traded him away for a seventh round pick. So, but I just still didn't want to see the Cowboys as active as they were, but this one hurt. Um, man, oh man, oh man. So when I saw this one, I was like, come on, man. So, but Quentin Williams was traded from the Jets to the Cowboys for a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 first round pick and a player, defensive tackle, Mozzie Smith. Hmm. This one is tough because I know that going into the offseason, the Cowboys, we thought they were really prioritizing only offense when they traded away Michael Parsons. But when the season started, their defense didn't look as bad as I thought it was going to look. Offense looked great, but defense was all right. It wasn't bad, bad like my Commanders was. Um, and now they just strengthened that D line with Quentin Williams, one of the top defensive tackles um, in the league. Believe he's a three-time Pro Bowler. Um, it's really going to help that Cowboys team. Probably not in the near future, but definitely next season and years to come. This is going to be a solid piece for the Cowboys. I'm not going to lie. And the Jets got back some picks, which they're in that going into that rebuild type of mode. So both teams will benefit from this one for sure. But this one kind of hurt a little bit. So good deal on both sides though. Can't even hate. Good trade. Was shocked by this one though. And but Jerry always has something up his sleeve. And then when this one came out, I think it kind of shocked the whole sports world with this one, with Sauce Gardner being traded to the Colts um, for a 2026 and 2027 first round draft pick. Um, Colts are ready to contend now. That's what this trade represents. Um, you want you want to shore up that defense. Defense was already flying around. You want to shore it up some more. Get a shutdown corner. Get a lockdown corner. I mean, it's probably the second most important position on the defense. Um, so definitely a good trade on both sides. Jets was able to add 2 first-round picks. Colts was able to grab one of the best young corners in the league who just got his deal, so you don't have to really worry about you know any contract negotiations for a while. This one really shocked the sports world, and now looking at it, the Jets now have we can go through it. Jets now have a 2026 first round pick. That's theirs. Another 2026 first round pick coming from the Colts. They have their second round pick, and then they have a second round pick from Dallas. So they have 4 top picks in the top 100, and they could add more to that in this next draft. But now looking at 2027, you got their first round pick. You got another first round pick from Dallas. Then you got another first round pick from the Colts. In 2027, you're going to have 3 first round draft picks. I mean, the Jets is really setting up to really be able to rebuild, get some young players, really good, talented young players in the next 2 drafts. So I like it on both sides. They was able to get some of their veterans out, but for some great compensation. So some more things on the trade deadline that we can talk about. Edge Tremont Jones was traded to the Ravens for a conditional 2026 fifth-round draft pick. Um, Wide receiver Rashid Shaheed was traded from the Saints to the Seahawks for a 2026 fourth and fifth-round draft pick. Um, Seahawks just keep adding to that roster. Another deep threat speedster for Sam Darnold. Um, really be able to stretch the field. Um, and just another option for him. But I think this is going to be a good trade for the Seahawks going down the stretch. Then we had defensive end Joe Tryon Shoyinka was traded from the Browns to the Bears. So Browns gave up Shoyinka and a 2026 seventh-round draft pick. Um, and that was for the Bears giving up a 2026 sixth-round draft pick. So almost a pick swap, and then Shoyinka going to the Bears. Bears just wanted to get some edge help for that defensive line, and the Browns are just they have a lot of players at that position, but he wasn't getting play time over there as well. I think he was only playing on like 10% of the games. He wasn't really playing a lot, so I can see them trying to kind of cut some of that weight off that defense. And then we had an old lineman on the move. Trevor Penning was traded, I believe, from the Jaguars to the Chargers for a 2026 sixth-round draft pick. So Chargers trying to shore up that O line over there as well. So especially with Alt's injury, they needed some help coming in with that. So definitely a lot of moving parts. This was the most trades that I've seen in a trade deadline in a long time. Um, so that was definitely pretty exciting. So now we can get into our extreme power rankings. So this one this one's going to be a surprise for everyone because there's a lot of good teams right now, and a lot of the good teams of old have fallen off. or trying to play catch up. So we could try to get into number 5 and see who came in on this one. So coming in at number 5 on our extreme power rankings, we have the LA Rams. So this one was pretty close. It was kind of a tie between the Rams and the Seahawks, because the Seahawks have been playing well, also, and both teams won 3 in a row. But it kind of went back for a tiebreaker for us. Was when the Rams beat the Colts in Week 4. Um, Had to go all the way back to that week to kind of break the tie right now. But both teams are playing well, offense, defense, special teams. Both quarterbacks are playing well. It really just came down to um, that game. But again, both teams playing well. But we were just picking hairs with this pick. So Rams coming in at number 5. Next, coming in at number 4, we have Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's been playing well, and definitely beat a good Chiefs team last Sunday. They won, I believe, two in a row, 2 or 3 in a row. But the team seems to kind of be getting in their stride. Um, Josh Allen is playing, almost back to his MVP level. Defense is flying around, putting pressure on teams. Um, they're 6-2 right now. Bills is one of the best teams in the AFC. So not a shocker having them back in the top 5. They did slid off when they lost to some teams early on in the season that you would have thought they would win, but they're getting back on track, and no surprise that they're back in the top 5. So coming in at number 3, we have New England Patriots. Patriots, one of the surprise teams of the NFL at 7-2. Drake May is playing well. Defense doing enough to keep them in games, and then the offense, even without a running game, a consistent running game, they're doing enough to win. And I put a lot of that on Drake May. Um, he's having to do a lot. A lot is on his shoulders right now. Throwing the ball, he's using his legs, um, and also that coaching staff. They was able to switch out the coaches, and it has that team believing and play well. So they've been in the top 5 for a while now. Once we started believing, they kind of been implanted in the top 5. So they're looking like that Cinderella team this year, but Patriots are really playing well this year. And next, coming in at number 2, we have Indianapolis Colts. They were number 1 for a lot of the season, but they did come away with a loss this week to the Steelers. So dropped down a little bit. Running game didn't look good in that game. Daniel Jones made a lot of mistakes. So still a great team at 7-2, but couldn't keep them at number 1 this week. Too many mistakes in that game. And there's another team that's playing slightly better than the Indianapolis Colts. And that team is the 7-2 Denver Broncos. If you think you want to play them, I think you need to reconsider. That offense is playing well with Bo Nix. They got that running game is solid. Receivers are reliable. Defense is tough, and it's on all aspects of that defense: pressure, coverage, running to the ball, tackling. I mean, that team is tough to play, and they've won 6 games in a row. Okay, I know that they don't get a lot of TV time, so you probably don't know or probably not really realizing what's going on in Denver. But they won 6 games in a row. We're not going to say how they turned out. They had some close games and stuff against Giants and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about. However, offense, defense, special teams, coaching, 6 games in a row for the Denver Broncos. They are our number one team in our extreme power rankings for this week. Um, but yeah, not going to hold you for too long. Thank you for staying with me for these recaps of the games, going through a lot of these trades that happened this week at the trade deadline, and then seeing those power rankings. So definitely have another episode coming later on this week where we dive into our game picks. Hopefully, I caught up to Kobe. He had a couple game lead on me. Of me staying a homer to my Commanders. But yeah, definitely a lot of episodes coming up. Thank you for always joining us. And as always, subscribe to that channel. Hit that notification bell so you know the next time that we go live or we drop another video. Comment. Let me know what you thought about the trade deadline. Let me know about those games that happened this past Sunday. And do you agree with that Extreme Power Rankings list? Do you still think the Colts should be number one? Do you think Patriots should be up there? Or do you think that the Seahawks should have somehow made it in there? Let us know. And hey, as always, peace.